So being a blind person with ham radio, tell me about that.
Well, when I first started with ham radio, we had people that didn't think I could get my ham license. But one person, I can't even remember his name, he didn't think I'd get the license. But ham radio is a communication for blind people and for people with disabilities, because we can talk around the world and we can get to know people in ham radio. Even if we can't see, we can talk to you folks on radio and get to know you, because it is a form of communication, and you meet good friends and you meet bad people. And licensees it's fun to try to study for your license, but sometimes it can be very hard, as I found out.
Yeah, you're studying for the extra class. Tell me about that.
The extra class is the highest license in ham radio. I think it's 60 questions. And most of them are for blind people. They have to read the questions, if it's true or false or whatever, and what you think it is. And
It's probably multiple choice.
yeah, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But I study and I study, then I get tired, then I shut it off. But I like ham radio because I've met my friend Bruce, I've met all my people in ham radio. Not to feel sorry, no. It's the communication again, meeting people and getting to know them and to get to know me as a person. Not as a blind person, no. But a person that has needs like everybody else.
Tell me about working DX and 10 meters. What do you enjoy about that?
That's a lot of fun. Except when it gets piled up in a thing. I'll call CQ and CQ and CQ, and sometimes they'll come back and sometimes they won't. 10 meters can be a jamming up. So many people will come on, as my friend Bruce would say the same thing. When you have a pileup, everybody wants to talk to that person that is hard to get a hold of. And when you get a hold of them, everybody else wants the same thing. But it is a challenge that we in ham radio, that we are trying to get a hold of somebody that we would like to talk to around the world.
Tell me about some of the places you've talked to on 10 meters.
I have talked to Africa. Never got a card from them. I talked to Australia. Let's see, Australia. England. Wales. I've talked to Ireland. And some other countries I can't think off my head.
But lots of U.S. states, too.
Oh, yeah, I've talked to Texas plenty of time. Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Georgia, Colorado. Yeah, well, not on Skip, but I have talked to Colorado because there's a station that you can talk to on 2 meters. There's all different types of forms of ham radio. 2 meters, 440, 220, CW, and on computers. But it's more fun trying to get things without trying to go through machines, and that's what a lot of people do right now.
So what kind of joy does ham radio bring you?
Happiness, knowing that I have talked to somebody that I have never talked to before, and it's fun. Sometimes you can't get anybody, and sometimes I just shut down because nobody's on the air. I shouldn't say that, because there's people on the air, but sometimes they don't hear you. It's just the way the communication and what it's like and how it is in ham radio.
Tell us what it's like being blind. What does that mean?
Well, should have one of my friends that's totally blind. It's where you can't see things, but you see things with your heart and with your mind. Blindness can be good and it can be bad. It all depends how you accept people with blindness or a disability. We don't want to feel sorry. We don't want people to feel sorry for us. That's the wrong thing. I've talked about this many times, not on this ham radio, but people that are in government. We do not, repeat, we do not want pity. We want to be like everybody else. We might not have the sight, but we have the brains and we have the thoughts, and we can communicate like everybody else.
All right. Thank
Calling
you.
CQ, 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 CQ10. Calling CQ, CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ10. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ10. This is N6. X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, 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 CQ10. Calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, CQ. Calling CQ. N6. X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, 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 CQ10. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ, CQ. Calling CQ10. N6 X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Nobody around. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ10. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ, 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 CQ10. N6 X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, calling CQ, CQ, calling CQ10. N6 X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Calling CQ, calling CQ, 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 CQ10. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ10, calling CQ, CQ, calling CQ10. N6 X-Ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, 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 CQ10. Calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, 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 CQ. Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ 10. N6, X-ray, Charlie, Romeo, San Dimas, California calling.
Give it one more shot.
Calling CQ, calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, 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 CQ 10, calling CQ, calling CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ 10, calling CQ, 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 CQ 10. N6, X-ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California calling. Mobile, the N6, X-ray, Charlie Romeo, back to you.
It's Kilo 5.
Kilo 5 and 6, X-ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California. Go ahead.
Roger, missed your first prefix there. Sorry about that. Call is Kilo 5, India, mobile in eastern Oklahoma, Mays County to be exact.
Oklahoma, I haven't had that one before. Sound good, sound good. The name is Jim. The name is Jim. The call is N6, X-ray, Charlie, Romeo, San Dimas, California. How copy?
Roger, Jim. Good copy. It's November 6, X-ray, Charlie, Romeo. Call here is Kilo 5, India.
Copy to the little QRM, Do you QSL by any chance? Do you QSL? I QSL, I am legally blind, and I QSL. If you could send a QSL card, if you could send me a card, I am in QSD. If you could look QRZ, if you could look me up, I would appreciate it, and I will send you a card back.
Roger, Jim. We'll do that. And when I get back to home PCH, I'll be glad to fix you up. We'll say 73 this go around. You've got a good 5-9 signal at times, and it just drops out to nothing, Jim. So it's just fading conditions. But you're getting back over here to Oklahoma anyway. So 73, Jim. Good luck with your endeavors there, and we will talk to you on down the log.
Oklahoma.
6, X-ray, Charlie Romeo, Kilo 5, India mobile. 73, Jim.
73's to you. 73's to you. Thanks a lot. N6 X-ray, Charlie Romeo, San Dimas, California.
Good deal.
Was there another station calling N6XCR? Was there another station?
A QRP station.
QRT. Yeah, I copy. It's a little weak, but can copy. Arkansas. So I didn't copy the name. The name is Jim. The name is Jim. I am in San Dimas, California. San Dimas, California, in a retirement home on the 5th floor. On the 5th floor. If you copy. QSL, you're making the trip fine, Pat. You're making the trip. Do you QSL? Do you QSL?
Roger, roger. Yes, sir, I do. I will be more than happy to do so.
Okay, if you could look me up, Pat, we will send you a card back. It'll take a while, but my sister helps me with the cards and sending them back, but you will get one. If you could send one back to me, I would appreciate it.
Jim, I will be more than happy to do so. I kind of run those off one at a time and print them off on the printer and laminate them and stuff them in an envelope and send them on their way, and we'll be more than happy to get one to you.
Okay, Pat, thank you again for the contact. 73s, have a great day back there. It's nice and sunny here in California. I don't know what the weather's like back there, but we have some sunny weather. We did have some rain a couple of weeks ago, and now it's nice and warm. Have a fine day back there. Thanks for the contact. 73s and N6XCR Charlie Romeo monitoring.
All right, Jim, fine business. Appreciate the contact on this end as well. The weather's fantastic today. We've got partly sunny skies. Every once in a while, a little drip or two of rain, but at the moment it's very nice here. It's probably in the mid-60s or so. With all the cold weather we've had lately, it almost feels like summer. 73KN, I hope you get a bunch more contacts before it's all said and done. Pleasure speaking with you. N6XCR, AB5 N9873.
Let's go ahead and turn it page. Keep
Got
going,
room
keep
for little
going.
pictures, man.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, we got an empty spot on that one.
Yeah.
2.
Go ahead, more pages. Yeah, keep going.
They're stuck.
Yeah.
Friend gave me some of these too, so which one you want?
Oh, any of them, doesn't matter. Okay. Ooh, I think you got to turn it around the other way. It's probably like that. Okay. Oof. Could be a little loud. And then sit down and study for a minute.
Come on.
Isn't this the play button right there?
Which one is it in? Number 1?
An early story.
Congratulations, this is it, your 6th and final CD in preparation for your upcoming extra class written examination. Gordon West here, WB6NOA, and I hope to work you on the extra class portions of the band soon when you pass that test. We're finally going to cover antennas that I know you've been wanting to talk about for some time, and we're talking all about antennas, coax cable, antenna safety, and then the final track is the big review in preparation for your upcoming 50 multiple choice questions and answer examination. All right, let's get started with antennas, antenna radiation resistance. That's the value of a resistance that would dissipate the same amount of power as that radiated from an antenna. Radiation resistance. And what goes into radiation resistance of an antenna? Well, the antenna height above ground, the conductor of the antenna and the length and diameter of the conductors and their ratio, and the location of nearby conductive objects. All of these factors determine the radiation resistance of an antenna. And all of these will also factor into antenna impedance as well as radiation resistance. And the term radiation resistance of an antenna to the total resistance of the system is antenna efficiency. And that's what we're looking for, is the most efficient antenna out there. And we're going to tell you that a simple little dipole is one of the most efficient antennas around for the buck. What is included in the total resistance of an antenna system? Well, that's radiation resistance plus the ohmic resistance. That's why we use a large coil in mobile antennas. And we can calculate antenna efficiency by radiation resistance divided by total resistance times 100%. Now, they're not going to have you do any calculations, but know that it's radiation resistance divided by total resistance times 100%. Now, be careful. They've got an answer that is just backwards. They have total resistance divided by radiation resistance, and that multiplied by 100%. Nope, it's radiation resistance divided by total resistance times 100%. Now, what determines the free space polarization of an antenna? Well, the orientation of the antenna's electric field. And the electric field comes off of an antenna just the way you look at it. If the antenna is vertical, the electric E field will be vertical, and that is the polarization. If the antenna is horizontal, then the electric E field will also be horizontal. For working worldwide, it's okay to have a vertical antenna or a horizontal antenna, one or the other. There's not one necessarily better than the other. For working ground wave, you want to keep polarization the same. But for worldwide, usually the big beam antennas we make horizontal, but the big vertical antennas are, that's right, vertical. Now, how can we up the efficiency of a high-frequency quarter-wave grounded vertical antenna? Well, we could install a good ground radial system. And if we're going to rely on the soil, we want to make sure that the soil is nice and moist and conductive. And the way we check the important factors that determine ground losses for a ground-mounted vertical antenna is soil conductivity. Usually soil is not a great ground. Salt water is for all you mariners. All right, what strongly affects the shape of the far field low angle, which we want? Low angle elevation pattern of a vertically polarized antenna. Well, that would be the conductivity and dielectric constant of the soil in the area just below the antenna. And the more conductive the soil is, the better the low angle of radiation. Now, how is the far field elevation pattern of a vertically polarized antenna affected by being mounted over seawater versus, let's say, dry, rocky ground? Well, the low angle radiation increases, and that's what we want, is low angle radiation. Now, don't read too much into this. When they say low angle radiation increases, it doesn't mean it goes up. It means that there's more signal coming out at a low angle. What is the main effect of placing a vertical antenna over an imperfect ground? Well, the big effect there is it will reduce the low angle radiation and create high levels of radiation like NVIS, where you're bouncing signals and, as hams call it, warming the clouds. So if you're thinking of putting up a vertical antenna on your roof, then have plenty of ground radials, usually 2 to 3 inch wide copper foil strips as the ground plane. If you're thinking of doing a vertical antenna in your backyard, relying on your soil as ground, unless you live right on the water, I recommend don't. Put it up on a metal shed or get it up on the roof with ground foil radials, and you'll have a much better low-angle radiation pattern. Which of the following types of conductor would be best to minimize losses in a station's RF ground system? 3-inch wide copper foil. You can get it at the ham stores. A thin, flat copper 3-inch strap will do the job quite nicely. I know. What are you going to do with it?